That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So it could have been on my birthday. Hi, Tracy. Fourth. So close. The day you went up. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. I saw this great shirt. Not all who wanders are lost. It's like perfect for Sagittarians. Like that's we definitely have that instinct. But we can live by that motto. Not all who wander are lost. Sag? Are you Sag? What's your birthday? That's my son's. We have 3 Sages in our house. I know. And then Julia's flighty Aquarian self to like it's my dad. What's your March? Oh, okay. He's March 17th, so he's at the end. Yeah. But yeah, Julia's coming up on February 1st. So all right. All right. Tracy and Deb online. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Oh, oh. All right. Hi, Deb. Tracy, can you hear us? Let's see. It's connecting to audio. Tracy, if you want to turn your video on for a second, just let me know or send me a chat that you can hear me okay. Deb, can you hear me okay? Yeah. Connecting to audio. Oh, no. Hello, hello, everyone. So many familiar faces back. Welcome back. Can you bring some warmer weather? Where's the Florida? This is not typical Florida. This is very atypical. I mean, I'm not going to complain though after 9 months of sweating. This is fine. Nice to wear a long sleeve every once in a while. So, how are we feeling? Yeah. January 8th, right? 9th? What day are we? 8th, yeah. So, first week under our belt. We got this. Yeah. I thought we'd start on our bellies, but in a minute, just let's take a minute to tune in and set our intention, and then we can shift to our bellies. Let me grab my little bell to start the class. So find just a comfortable seat that you can be in for a few minutes, and we'll just do this kind of tuning in practice to just come to our mats. So cross legs or hero's pose, use a block, support the legs any way that you can get comfortable, and just start to soften the eyes, let the shoulders drop, and feel as if there's a string at the top of your head, almost like a marionette where it's being tugged upwards to help you lengthen up through the spine. And as you soften the gaze or close the eyes, bring the chin to be parallel with the floor and draw the chin in a little bit where you feel some space open in the back of the neck. Take a deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. If you want to do that twice, maybe even lift the shoulders up to the ears and then drop them down. Start to soften in the thighs, any gripping in the pelvis, and then bring your awareness to the middle of your brain. Focus on something that lights you up. First thing that comes to mind, maybe it might even bring a soft smile to your face, something that lights you up, and stay focused on that as we just Come to a minute of silence to open up the practice this morning. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra, this prayer pose. Tips of your thumbs just gently resting against your heart space, and maybe a little spark of energy, that connection of your thumbs with the heart space. Stay focused on that thing that you thought of that lights you up. Patanjali, who is responsible for bringing us the Yoga Sutras, the ancient scriptures of this practice, says the result of any sequence of events will be determined by your intention. The practice of our asana, our physical part of the practice, is done to refine your connection to all beings and others. So in your yoga journey, look for the relationship to be mutually beneficial, not taking from others, but connecting with all beings, whatever you want for yourself, you, and not for others. So that spark, what lit you up, maybe that's something that you can extend out into the world to help deepen your connection with others and draw your intention from that inspiration this morning. And then we'll come together with the sound of Om. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, sigh it out through the mouth. We'll Om on the next exhale. Take a moment to also dedicate your practice this morning to someone in your life. For me, that Om, I don't know, Satish just came into my mind, and I sent our Om out to India to him. Flicker the eyes open, and now we're going to come to our belly, to a pose called crocodile pose. And take your time getting there, just lower slowly. And a couple options here for the head. So start with stacking the backs of the hands on top of each other, and then drop the forehead to the backs of those hands. So you do feel a little lift in the head, opening in the back of the neck. Maybe try stacking the forearms, and that lifts the head a little bit. If that creates too much pressure in the low back area, middle back area, then take those elbows out and drop the forehead back down to the backs of the hands. If that's still creating too much tension, then you're welcome to separate the elbows even wider and turn one cheek to the mat. So find what's going to work for you, what's comfortable for you. And then bring your awareness to the legs. Separate the legs so your toes are pointing to the far corners of your mat. So the first option is either just staying here with the tops of the feet resting on the mat, Or maybe try flexing the feet, turning them so that the inner ankle bones fall to the floor. And the feet are a little flexed, toes pointing out in opposite directions. So you get a little bit of a spiraling going on with your legs. And then just soften the flex in the foot so you're not active the whole time and you're able to soften the legs. So with the head slightly lifted, if you took that option, just start to let the shoulders soften down. Let gravity draw you down into this pose. So a lot of benefits of crocodile pose. We create more of a diaphragmatic breathing from our diaphragm. We tend to breathe mostly from our chest, which prevents us then from getting a full deep breath. And breathing from the diaphragm, we feel that expansion in the rib cage. It helps increase our lung capacity. We feel the belly press against the floor with each inhale and exhale. And just begin to scan the body, noticing where the breath is moving to, any sensations that you're feeling in the body. Noticing if there's been any shifts in your mind. So the eyes may be fully closed or soft gaze. Really bring awareness to relaxing your face, your shoulders, your abdomen, your pelvis, legs, and feet. And bring awareness to the process of breathing. Breathe through your nose. Soften on the exhale. Allowing your nervous system to quiet any emotional tension. Begin to soften. Continue to let the breath flow in and out. Feel the breath pressing the belly against the floor. Gently expanding the lower back. Maybe feeling those lower ribs flare out to the sides. And then bring attention to your low back. Notice how the breath is in relationship with the muscles that support the back when you stand and sit. Notice if those muscles have relaxed. Notice the back of your waist and your low back expand with the inhalation and soften with the exhalation. Working toward releasing any gripping, any tension that's there gripping the muscles. Just a few more rounds. See where else you can soften just a little bit more. one more full inhale. And exhale. And then we'll slowly start to make our way up into child's pose. So when you come up, separate your knees wide and bring your toes together in the back. Drop your seat towards your heels. Either lower the forehead to a block or allow the chest and forehead to fall to the earth. And settle in here for 5 breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Again, noticing just the connection with the low back area. And then slowly lift up halfway. And we're going to walk our hands over to the left. Dropping the belly back down over that left thigh. And trying to draw the right sits bone towards that right heel as you reach through the right fingertips, getting a deep stretch for that whole right side. And then inhale to lift up. And we'll take it to the other side. So walk the fingers back through center, over to the right, dropping down. Draw that left sits bone toward the left heel. Settling in, stretching, and breathing into this left side body. Really feel the stretch in the muscles in the rib cage. And then inhale to lift up, and we'll come to tabletop, hands and knees. And let's get some movement going for our spine. So our knees are under our hips, stacking shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Rotate your elbow creases so they look like they're facing more forward. And then plug into your thumbs, the index fingers, and the tips of the third, fourth fingers. Draw the belly in, navel towards spine. Keep that engagement as you lift the crown of the head, tilt the tailbone up for cow pose. And on your exhale, rounding the spine into cat pose. Begin your inhale, follow it with movement into cow. And then exhaling into cat. And keep moving like that. And really think of it as like a lubrication for the spine. And just working out all those kinks from sleeping last night. And then once you finish in cat pose, come to neutral. And then just start to make some circles. So shift your hips over to the left. Push them back, come around to the right, and just continue to move like that, making some organic movements as I figure out my connection with my speaker. I don't know what's going on. And just breathing in, breathing out. Notice if there's a side that needs a little bit more attention, and you're welcome to stay and kind of massage that out. Beautiful movements. Just make them as organic as what feels good. And finishing up, making any last circles. Coming back to tabletop, and then grab your blocks. Place your blocks under your hands, and then drop to your forearms. Bring your fingers together, interlace them. Tuck your toes under and begin to lift your sits bones, straightening the legs, coming to dolphin pose here on the blocks. So your forearms are fully supported by the blocks, and you're pushing your head back in between the arms, feeling that stretch for the shoulders. Lifting up the heels, bend the knees a little bit, tilt your tailbone up. And then drop the heels down. And then lower the knees back down to the mat. Bring hands to the blocks. Separate the blocks a little bit. Extend your right leg back. And then draw that right knee into the chest. Step the foot forward. So you're bringing it in between the blocks. And then lean in a little bit. Belly toward the right thigh. And then inhale, sweeping the arms up. Pressing into the sole of the right foot. Top of the left. Soft the shoulders. Anjaneyasana. Full breath in. And then exhale, hands to heart center, twisting to the right, then lean the body forward to hook that left elbow with right knee. Press the palms together to deepen into the twist. Option to tuck the left toes under, lift that left leg up, straightening the leg, finding a little deeper balance here, and then exhale, dropping that knee back down. Uncurl the toe, hands to heart center, and the arms float up. And then down to the blocks. Tuck the left toes under, lift to low lunge, and then right hand brings you into the twist. We've got a little bit support here now. So noticing the difference just with that one twist in Anjaneyasana versus the slow lunge twist. Full breath in, reach through those right fingertips, and then exhale, hand back down to the block. Step that right leg back, plank pose. So notice where you might be collapsing, hollow out the chest. If the hips, if your sits bones feel lifting toward the sky, see if you can lower them a little bit. Maybe the feet need to walk back just a little bit. And then drop the knee down, the knees. Extend left leg back and then draw that knee in. So you step the left foot forward. Sweeping the arms up. Anjaneyasana. So other side, breathe in, breathe out. Draw the belly in, lengthen down through the low back. Hands to heart center. We twist to the left. Then lean forward. So we're coming into the twist with that long spine. Option to tuck the right toes under and lift up that right knee. So takes a little bit more focus, lengthening and strengthening that back leg. Hips still drawing toward the midline, bending that left knee to 90 degrees. And then lower that right knee down, hands come to heart center and up by the ears. And then down to the blocks. Tuck the right toes under, lifting up, and then we float the left arm up. reaching through those left fingertips. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, and then next exhale, hands gonna drop, and we come to plank pose, and then lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Try it with blocks first. Hands on the blocks. Just notice the extra extension that you get in the arms. For this first downward dog, it might feel really good with the support of the block, so you can focus on making little adjustments. Maybe the heels come a little closer to the floor than normal, but really think about lifting the sits bones up toward the sky and pushing back. Nice, yeah, Karen, yeah. Jackie, drop the head just a little bit. So there shouldn't be any tension in the head, in the neck. Your gaze looking at your knees. Beautiful. And then lift your gaze. You're going to walk your feet up to the top of the mat, but mindfully. So go heel to toe. Notice the stretch that you get in the backs of the legs as you do that. Inhale to a half lift, finding a flat back. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other in the back a little bit. Then on an inhale, float the arms up. So they're stretching out side to side. Beautiful. Feel that engagement in the belly. Still finding lengthening from the tailbone. Up the spine, out through the crown of the head. And then soften the knees. Lift the upper body to stand. Straighten the legs, arms, float overhead. Interlace the fingers, index finger is pointing straight up. Find some length here as you press the feet into the mat. Lengthen down through the tailbone. Soften your shoulders. Draw the belly in. We're going to add a side bend. So inhale, and then exhale over to the left. Keep that right arm by the ear. Try not to collapse in the chest, but opening. And then inhale through center, take it over to the right. Feel that stretch for the left side. Inhale through center, over to the left. Try pressing into the right foot a little bit. Inhale through center, over to the right. Reach through the index fingers, press into the left foot. And then inhale through center. We're going to dive forward, but do it slowly. Take the arms out to the sides. Think about leading with the heart. Tilt your tailbone up. So we're coming into the forward fold with a tall spine, lengthening as we come into the forward fold. Then bend the knees a lot and roll up to stand. Inhale the arms overhead and dive right back down. Same thing, arms out to the sides. Lead with the heart, pressing into the feet as we lower. When you get there, bend the knees a lot and roll up to stand, one vertebrae at a time. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, dive forward. Soften the knees, bending them a lot, and roll up to stand. Inhale, the arms overhead. Interlace the fingers again. This time, bring them behind the head. Draw the elbows back as we lift the chest. A little back bend here for the upper back. Inhale and just an arching of the upper back, this upper thoracic area, our upper T's. So inhale, think about lengthening up. Beautiful arch, everyone. Where can you soften in the shoulders here to create a little bit more opening? And then come back to neutral. Draw the elbows together, drop chin to chest. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lower the head a little bit more. A slow roll down to our forward fold. So each inhale and exhale, we drop just a little bit lower. And when we've gotten to the lowest point, bend the knees a lot. Belly's resting on the thighs. Take the elbows out to the sides. Then lift the belly off the thighs. Modified chair pose. Next, inhale, straighten the legs. Another arching of the upper back. And arms alongside Tadasana. This song is called Longer. All right. So standing in Tadasana, hands on hips, soften the knees. Take the right leg back behind you, finding high lunge. So that right heel is lifted. Don't drop that heel down. Keep that heel lifted. Put the arms up by the ears. Lengthen down through the low back. So you're dropping the sacrum down a little bit. With control, lower that right knee down to the mat. Don't touch the mat. Lift back up. Lower down. Inhale, lengthen that leg, straighten it. And exhale, drop the knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, drop the knee all the way down. Nice job, everyone. Frame the left foot with your hands. Tuck the right toes under. Lift that leg. Step the left leg back. Finding plank. Rock forward a little bit so your shoulders are coming past your wrists. Then drop the knees down. Hug your elbows in. Lower the whole upper body to the mat. Setting up for Cobra. Inhale. Feel the heart, the chest off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Tuck your toes under. Push your seat to your heels. Lift your knees and then continue straightening the legs. Finding downward facing dog. Look between your hands and walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Arms float out to the sides, bend the knees, lift the upper body. Finding Tadasana, arms float overhead, hands to heart center, and mountain pose. Take a reset breath, full inhale and exhale. Look down at your feet, just notice symmetry. Feet are as wide as your hips. Hands to hips, soften the knees. Other side. So step that left leg back. Your left heel is lifted. It's not behind the right. That would be hard. So you're definitely on 2 planks of wood here. Rooting down through that right foot. Bounce a little. Just really feel rooted here. And then we'll take the arms up. Lengthen down through the low back. Take an inhale, then exhale. Left knee drops down, don't let it touch. And inhale, 2, lengthen. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. One more time. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, lower down. And bring the right foot. Step that right leg back, plank pose. Rock the body forward, then drop knees. Hug those elbows in and lower the upper body. So this time, cobra without your hands. So hug the elbows in, put them in the right position, but then lift them up off the mat. Separate your legs a comfortable distance apart where you don't feel tension in the low back. Then engage your glutes, your thighs. Use the muscles in your back to lift the chest off the mat. Beautiful. Inhale. And then exhale, lower down, tuck the toes under. We push our seat toward our heels. Lift the shins and knees off the mat. Then continue straightening the legs. Finding downward facing dog. 5 breaths this time. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Look between your hands. Walk your feet up to the top of your mat. Either roll up to stand, or if you like to lift halfway and bend the knees. And then lift. Straighten the legs, arms float overhead, hands to heart center. Tadasana, reset breath. Inhale. And exhale, adding on a little bit. So hands to the hips again. We're going to step that right leg back, finding high lunge again. Bend that front knee. Now we're going to spiral that right heel down. If that right hip started to turn to the right, bring it forward. And your right toes are on an angle. We're still on 2 planks of wood. So front hip opener, warrior 1. So arms, take them wide. Let's start with a wide V. And notice how the shoulders fall away from the ears a little bit as we do that. Now cactus arms. So bend the elbows 90 degrees. Even more space. Now, keep that space. Straighten the arms. Lengthen them up toward the sky. And then draw them together a little bit more. Maybe the hands even make it to touch, but maintaining that space from shoulders to ears. Bend that left knee. Lengthen down through the low back. Takes the arch out of that middle back area. So now, pyramid pose, bring hands to hips. Step your right foot in a little bit and turn the toes more toward the front of the room. Straighten both legs. So we want to hinge just like we do when we come into forward fold. So bring your hands where your thumbs are on your sacrum, your fingers wrap around your hips. Draw the elbows toward each other. Inhale, the chest lifts. And on your exhale, lead with the heart as you hinge forward. Come halfway, and then make a decision here if your fingertips may reach the floor or grab your blocks and bring your blocks under your shoulders. Start at the highest and then work down maybe to middle, but maintaining a tall spine, maintaining that lengthening out from the tailbone, the spine. Nice, yeah. And notice, bring awareness to your hips. Notice if one hip is trying to move forward and draw, it's probably that left hip. See if you could draw it back a little bit. One more breath in. And out, slowly start to lift. When you get halfway, bring hands to hips. Lifting, pressing into the feet to lift with that flat back. And then rebend that left knee. Lift your right heel up, pivoting that foot, coming back to our high lunge. And then lower that right knee down to the mat, coming to Anjaneyasana again, hands to heart center and finding our twist. Twist to the left. Right elbow hooking with left knee. Maybe we've created some more space. Draw hips to midline, maybe tuck the right toes under, lift that right knee. And then lower the knee if you've lifted it. Bring hands to heart center, float the arms up. And then down to the mat. Hands come down, tuck the right toes under, step that left leg back to find plank. So join me in lowering, or you can lift the hips right into downward dog. If you're lowering, rock forward a little bit, drop knees down, hug elbows in, lower the whole upper body at once. Remember Cobra, we're hugging elbows into the side body, peeling the chest away from the mat. And then finding downward dog, pushing back, feet to heels, then straightening the legs, sits bones, lifting up toward the sky. Feeling that full extension in the arms and in the spine. Look between your hands, walk your feet up to the top of your mat and lift up halfway. Exhale into your forward fold. Let's hold opposite elbows. Let the head hang, maybe sway from side to side a little bit. Just stretch that out. And breathe in. Breathe out. And release that bind, bend the knees a lot, roll up to stand. And come to mountain pose, Tadasana. So other side, hands to hips, soften the knees a little bit. We're gonna step that left leg back. So start with the heel lifted, just to find your footing, bending that right knee, then spiral that left heel down. Draw that left hip forward. Look at your right knee. If the right knee is going past that big toe, you can widen your stance a little bit. And then we find warrior one on this side. So let's start with that wide V again. Bringing awareness to the shoulders. Notice the space between shoulders and ears. Cactus arms. Notice the opening we get in the chest. And now bring the arms back up. Turn the pinkies in toward each other. Beautiful. Maintaining that space between your shoulders and ears. And see if you can draw the hands toward each other. Somewhere to go. If you're not there yet. One more breath in. And out. And then hands back to hips. Bring that left foot in a little closer and turn your toes more toward the front. Setting up for pyramid pose. So both legs are straight. Bring your hands to your sacrum now. Fingers pointing down. Lengthen down through the tailbone. And then wrap the fingers around. Just notice that difference. Elbows toward each other, chest lifts, and then we start hinging forward. When you get halfway, maintaining balance here, maybe reach for your blocks. Placing the hands on the blocks under the shoulders is a great place to be. Drawing that right hip back a little bit. Equal pressure in the feet. And then maybe instead of rounding into this, you continue to hinge, drawing that right chest, the chest toward the right knee. Keeping the legs straight. And then we'll start to lift up, press into the feet, come halfway, bring hands to hips. So you bring yourself all the way up and then rebend that right knee, lift your left heel. So you're coming back to this high lunge. Inhale the arms up and exhale, lower that knee down slowly. Hands to heart center, twist to the right, lean forward to hook the left elbow with knee. Staying here or tucking left toes under, lifting that leg, deepening it a little bit, and also a little bit more challenge for balance. So keep your gaze fixed on something, maybe the right elbow. If you lifted that knee, lower it down. We all meet hands to heart center, arms float up and then down to frame your right foot. Tuck left toes under, step the right leg back to find plank. And let's lift the hips. Let's all go right into downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. See if you can find an external rotation in the upper arms, where it's like you're hiding your armpits from your neighbor to help broaden across the upper back. If you feel any tension in the neck, check in with that. See where you can soften. And then rock forward to plank and either drop knees down or join me in lowering 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms come alongside, setting up for our belly back bend, Shalabhasana. Forehead to the mat. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Distance the legs to a comfortable place for the low back, and then turn your pubic bone toward the mat. On an inhale, we'll just do the upper body first. So keep the legs right where they are and just start to lift the arms. Peel the chest away, gaze looking at the floor. And notice as you lift the engagement, where do you feel it in the back? Still turning the pubic bone toward the mat to keep those glutes fired up. And then exhale, lower down, turn one cheek to the mat to rest in between. And the next part of this is lifting the legs. The whole upper body, upper half of the body is going to stay on the mat. So bring the forehead to the mat. Keep the upper body and the arms where it's at, and then start to lift just the legs. Still turning the pubic bone toward the floor. Maybe you can keep lifting the legs where the thighs float off. And notice what muscles are here. Lower down, turn opposite cheek to the mat. And then we're gonna put it all together for the third one, where we just keep the pelvis and the hips in contact with the earth, but the rest, the legs and the upper body are gonna lift. So on your next inhale, turn your forehead to the mat. Begin by lifting the arms. The chest starts to peel away from the earth and then start to float the legs up. Not holding our breath, but breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. See if you can lift the thighs off the mat, maybe one more set of ribs, and then release. Turn the opposite cheek to the mat, bend your knees, slowly windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And then we'll roll onto our back to come into revolved abdomen twist to release that back bend. So come onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit from side to side. Keep hugging the right knee into your chest. Extend your left leg out long onto the mat. And then with your left hand, guide your right knee over to the left, rolling onto the left side of your body. Extend your right arm out, shoulder height, palm face up. You can place a block under that right knee if you'd like, for a little extra support. Gaze looking up at the ceiling, or you can turn your head to look out over the right arm. Two more full rounds of breath to help soften any gripping. Notice if you're gripping in the left thigh. Notice if you're gripping in the pelvis area. Try and soften on the exhale. Next inhale, come through center. Hug that left knee into your chest. Let's take a happy baby in between. So separate your knees wide and turn your feet up to the sky. Flex those feet. And then bring your elbows to the inside of your knees. And then wrap your fingers around the front of your shins. So your fingers are reaching toward the backs of your calves. And just rock a little bit from side to side. The elbows on the inside of the knees helping to gently open the hips, the inner groin muscles. Pull back in contact with the earth. And then hug the knees into your chest. Keep that left knee hugging in. Extend your right leg out long onto the mat. Take your right hand and guide that left knee over to the left side, rolling onto the right side of your body. And the left arm extends out from the shoulder. Support that left knee with a block if you'd like. And then begin to let the breath help you ungrip. Soften in the neck. That left shoulder softens. Brow softens. Next inhale, we'll bring that left knee back to center. Hug the right knee in. Lift your forehead up to meet the knees. Giving yourself a little yogi hug. And then take the hands under the backs of the knees, start to rock forward and back. Getting enough momentum to lift yourself up to seat. And then separate your legs. I'm going to mirror you. Draw the right heel in toward your pubic bone. So your left knee and your left toes are facing up to the ceiling. And then you might want to block close by. We're going to drop down to get a side stretch. So if you're able to drop that left arm down, flip the palm up, and then we float the right arm up. The chest opens. You can rest that arm on a block. Keeping the left toes and knees facing up. Trying to open that right chest. And then inhale, lift that left arm up. Twist to the left. And then hinge over that extended leg. Again, blocks can be used under the hands. Inhale to lift up. Bring that right hand behind your back. Big circle with the left arm, lifting up onto the right knee and opening up. Bring that left arm back to open the chest fully. Soften the gripping in the pelvis, in the thighs. One more inhale. Exhale, float your way back down. Beautiful. And then we'll switch sides. So bring that right heel toward your pubic bone, your left heel, and extend right leg out. Knee and toes facing the ceiling. So dropping down into that side bend. So either arm comes down inside the leg and then the left arm floats up, or you can bring a block under that arm. Really breathing into this whole left side. And then inhale to lift up, arms float up, and then twist to the right, hinging over that extended leg, hands to blocks or the floor. Soften in the neck. You can always use your inhale to lift up a little bit and then exhale deeper into the twist and the hold. Next inhale lifts you up and then float that left hand behind. That right arm circles you up, opening up, full chest opening. That right arm reaching, feeling that length out from the heart space through the fingers. Soften any gripping in the glutes, the pelvis. On your exhale, slowly lower back down. Nice job. And then Baddha Konasana, bring the soles of the feet together. Wrapping the hands around the feet, sit up nice and tall and just find length here, and then close the eyes, soften the gaze, and we'll inhale and exhale. We're going to match our inhales with our exhale. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. One more round. Inhale, really feel your upper body getting long out of your hips. Release any gripping. And then extend the legs out in front of you. Push big toes away from you, pinky toes toward you. Maybe rock a little forward, move the flesh away from the sits bones, and then reach the arms up. Hinging forward. At the point, you're going to round into the fold, drop the hands down, soften the gaze or close the eyes. Recall the intention, the direction you set for your practice. Silently repeat it to yourself as you inhale. Feeling the effects of your practice as we cool the body down. Next inhale, we lift up and then we'll slowly lower to our back. So bring the arms up shoulder height, palms facing each other. Inhale, feel that lengthening up. And then exhale, start to round in the low back. Slowly lowering, engaging in the belly. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold, 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 hold. Let it go. Come all the way onto your backs. Separate the legs a comfortable distance, a comfortable width where you feel your low back release. If the low back is feeling especially tight today and this is not comfortable, you can bend the knees, feet on the mat, but have the feet as wide as your mat, and then let the thighs and knees fall together for what we call constructive rest. That might feel better for some of you than corpse pose. And as we start to settle in here to Shavasana, I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose, big sigh out through the mouth. One more deep inhale through the nose. Sigh it out through the mouth. Taking a body scan, soften the toes. Soften the feet. Soften the ankles. Soften the knees. Soften the thighs, the hips, the low belly. Soften the inner groin muscles. Soften the chest. Soften the rib cage. And soften the whole back. low back, middle, and upper back. Soften the shoulders, the arms, the hands and fingers. Soften the neck. And soften the face. Soften the brow. The muscles behind the eyes, the eye sockets. If the tongue is glued to the top of the mouth, let it soften, be voluminous in the mouth. Let the earth rise up to meet you and soften into its support. Start to deepen your breath. Invite small movements back in. Wiggling the fingers, the toes, circling wrists and ankles. Maybe inhale the arms overhead for an awakening stretch. And then hug knees into your chest, roll onto your right side and take a big breath there before making your way up to a seat. Coming up to a seat, rooting down through the sits bones, tall spine, that marionette string is attached to the crown of the head again, gently nudging the spine up toward the sky. Inhale the arms overhead, palms touch, draw down gratitude and thanks to your heart space, a soft bow of the head toward your heart, to thank yourself for being here. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. We'll seal the practice with one Om. Take a cleansing breath, inhale, exhale it out. Namaste.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. Sorry, I went over a little bit. They're clamoring to get in. Mondays, and then tomorrow here at 10 for intermediate yoga, Wednesday. And there is a new, I guess the schedule had to be adjusted, so Stephanie asked me to pull it, and it's supposed to be printed, I think, by tomorrow, the new schedule. So I believe Sloan resigned, so we had to adjust the schedule for her classes to come off, so, yeah. So we're the 15th.
Yeah, that's.
That Sloan resigned. Sloan resigned.
Oh,
Sloan.
yeah. For me. Kelly, I want to meet you. Good things. I'll be back tomorrow. You're here at 10.
10 o'clock.
So is the, are the whole schedule changing on stuff
I
or
think
not?
just Sloan's classes are being taken off, so I don't know.
Look at somebody.
I definitely think she's looking for somebody.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Really, really appreciate it. So good.
Is it all up there? No, right? Yeah.